Welcome to the third part of the behind the scenes for Season 7. In this video, we'll be taking a look at how the compressing hexagon was made, along with some other sets used in this episode. Compressing hexagon is the second oldest trap idea from Season 7 that I've had in my drafts for years. This is the sixth original trap I came up with a long time ago. I didn't write the exact date, but if you look 2 traps down, you can see I came up with the crucifix trap on October 5th, 2009. So for the hexagon, it was probably sometime in the summer of 2009. The name I had for this trap was always the wood trap. But once I decided to use it for Season 7, I started coming up with a new name for it, and you might see I used Pentagon as a name for it at first. But that was until I remembered that the shape of the trap was a hexagon and not a pentagon. Here you can see a few of the name options I had for it. One of the ideas I had for the crushing of the limbs was rollers instead of the heavy triangles. So each body part was going to have a roller crushing it and then a bigger one to crush the head of the victim. All these strips of cardboard with operating control parts are pieces I had saved for a while. In one of my previous videos, I mentioned that I had plans to do a 5-episode series where I was going to recreate famous scary mystery events. This plan was supposed to happen after Season 6, but it never did. The first one was going to be the Chernobyl accident, and I even started shooting it, but it didn't go that well as I thought. So I never finished it, and I saved these set parts for a future different video. It made sense to use them this season since the trap takes place in a power plant and Juniper's test takes place in the control room. I was looking online for control room references, but everything I saw was always very low ceilings, and for this scene I wanted something tall. So I designed a very tall room with windows on top and light coming through them. The end result ended up looking very good. This was probably the fastest trap set to finish this season, just because I already had most of the stuff ready to go on the set. The hexagon was easy to do since I already had the vision for it for years. So I cut 2 same size hexagons and about 2-inch strips to go in between. Then to keep it steady and heavy, I glued stones to the bottom, which were later covered when all the pieces were glued together. The vices were made with the same method I did the hexagon, only in a smaller version. To make them move, I glued 2 toothpicks to the back of the crushers and then 2 holes on the mechanical box that makes them go out. I made sure I left enough room for the toothpicks to fit and go all the way in and out. Like I said, the name of this trap was always the wood trap, so I painted it brown to keep it as close as I could to my vision. The thing I struggled a bit was how I was going to make the head crusher work. I ended up designing this bigger triangle hidden in the back, which will be triggered once the audience decided Juniper's fate. Having this as a live trap was new, because all those years ago I didn't have this idea until I started writing Season 7, so I didn't plan a way for this trap to work without someone else deciding. Remember, Juniper still has a chance, but that chance relies on someone else's mercy and justice. This power plant is abandoned and very old, so I gave this set a few details here and there to make it look like so. This is something I do a lot with my trap sets. It gives the illusion of water damage. All the heads for the characters were made before I started building any sets, and some heads didn't have assigned characters yet. Juniper, however, did. I wanted her to look very gothic, wearing dark clothing and having long black hair. This look was actually inspired by the woman in the bathtub torture scene from Hostel Part 2. In this scene, Lorna is hanging upside down with the bathtub below her. Then a very elegant woman enters the room and tortures her. This scene is absolutely intense, beautiful, and scary. I actually been wanting for years to recreate this scene in stop motion. So when I was making Juniper style, I had the image of the elegant woman from that scene, which is one of my favorite torture scenes ever. And if you're wondering, yes, I did had plans to do Hostel claymations after I was done with Saw, but that's probably not going to happen now. Something I didn't really specify and made official was if Season 7 takes place in the same city as the one from Season 6. If you recall, we got a little glimpse of Nathan's apartment in 6, and we had the Landslide Police Department in 6, but this season I wasn't sure what made more sense, so I tried to avoid the subject as much as I could. That's one of the reasons the police department is not mentioned much in later episodes. But I wanted to have Nathan's home present, just like we have Patrick's. So I made his living room colorful since he's into arts, and I included paintings, a piano, and various art pieces someone like Nathan would collect. In case you're wondering, the song on the piano book is real, and is one of my favorite piano pieces of all time. It's Prelude in G minor by Rachmaninoff, completed in 1901. So this was my little tribute to him and that piece. I had this little lamp for so many years but never had the power to make it work. I actually didn't even know how to until I looked it up online and I ordered the parts I needed to lit it. Here I'm shooting the scene where Nathan goes to see Patrick after watching the Juniper video. I always enjoyed shooting in this set. And just like Nathan and Patrick had their home, I made a set for Alexander's home. The floor is the one I used in the kitchen for the Huxley brothers story, and the steps are the ones seen in the foyer of the Huxley home. That parrot on the railing was a big mistake. Not sure why Alexander would have a giant parrot statue in his house, but to each their own. This is all for episode 3. Please let me know your thoughts on the compressing hexagon, Juniper, or any other scene shown in this episode. Next, we'll get to see what I think is the most different and unique trap from Season 7, the Office Trap. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.